Good afternoon, members of the African Kingdom. A controversial decision was made in the Supreme Court today relating to birthright citizenship. Trump's Quad D's executive order trying to end birthright citizenship nationwide. The Supreme Court, 6-3, ruled that federal district judges could not impose nationwide injunctions against Trump's executive orders. So I want to make it clear there was no decision made on the merits of ending birthright citizenship through executive order, okay? Because we all know the president, according to the Constitution, the president does not have the ability to make laws. The president also does not have the ability to change the Constitution. That happens in Congress and that happens through state convention, okay? So he cannot change the Constitution and eliminate that right in the Constitution, but the judges did not rule on that today. They simply said that universal injunctions they feel overreach the power that Congress granted federal judges. Okay, so that's the decision. Do not panic. In fact, the justices also ruled that 22 Democratic states that are currently suing the administration of the executive order do not have to implement the executive order. It's on hold while it makes its way through the lower courts. Okay, and that also holds true for expectant mothers and immigration organizations. So do not panic. The birthright citizenship is not over. Birthright citizenship protections in the Constitution are not over. There will be a case that comes to the Supreme Court probably within the next 30 days in which they actually have to make a ruling on this, okay? Because the constitutional question is still at stake here. But I don't want people to panic. This is not going to take effect immediately. In fact, the judges also ruled that Trump cannot try to deny birthright citizenship for anybody for at least 30 days. Okay, so what's going to happen is you're going to see these red states work towards trying to implement this executive order. But what also you're going to see is more lawsuits against the administration and this order. And the Supreme Court, it's a big decision because essentially it's going to motivate Trump to start issuing and signing even more, a barrage of more executive orders that pushes the constitutional limits of law. And basically, they made their jobs more difficult because the Supreme Court is going to have to answer a lot more questions now because they emboldened Trump to sign more executive orders. So it is important, but it doesn't change anything. Ultimately, this decision just made things more difficult for the court system. So you can thank the conservative justices for that. But again, do not panic over birthright citizenship and those protections in the Constitution. They are still there. They will still be enforced by law. You're just going to have to wait and stay tuned over the next 30 to 60 days and let these cases play through and eventually work their way up to the Supreme Court. So they have to address the underlying issue of birthright citizenship.